YouTube, we back. Um, I have a couple of JCS videos on my channel. It's like where a guy he does videos where he breaks down basically like criminal psychology and how an interrogator thinks or how like a suspect thinks during interrogation. Um, it's like super interesting but also sick as fuck. Cause the shit that these niggas try to get away with blows me. But what blows me the most is that I don't know why people go into an interrogation and talk. You don't have to speak. You can wait for your attorney, your lawyer, or whatever. You don't have to say a word. And if you don't, they cannot comment on your silence because you have a right to plead the fifth, a right to remain silent. Like, you can literally shut the fuck up. You don't have to incriminate yourself. Even if you're innocent, don't say shit. You might spend a night in holding or something, but like, really, if you're not under arrest, they legally have to let you go because you're not under arrest and you're not charged with anything. But if you start talking, they can be like, oh, well, you fit under this charge right now. Now you spending the night in jail, dumbass. This was the case of Lee Rodarte. I'm assuming they're going to pronounce it for me. It was requested by some of I react to some other JCS videos and people wanted me to do a couple more of them. So let's go ahead and hop into this.
On the 2nd of August 2017, at approximately 5:15 p.m., 21-year-old Savannah Gold left her parents' home and drove to San Jose Boulevard in Jacksonville, Florida. She had a 5:30 shift at the Bonefish Grill, a casual seafood restaurant where she worked as a waitress. But on this occasion, she never showed up. It was a fairly quiet Wednesday afternoon at the diner. Her absence wasn't too much of a strain, so the on-duty supervisor simply took her hours off the roster for that day and thought nothing else of it. Suspicions only arose roughly 1 hour and 15 minutes after Savannah had left the house, as her father received a text message from her phone number.
Hey, he answered, I'm guessing, wanted. I meant to say, wanted to tell you and Mom, I met a really great guy and we were running away together. I love him and we were leaving to... I'll call you later when we get to where we are going. All types of errors. Clearly she didn't send this.
Savannah's older brother also received...
Yeah, this... Like, you could have... And that's another thing. That's why he got caught. You misspelled so much shit. I mean, yeah, suspect that she's probably running away with some random dude who... Oh, I thought it said just met. But still, like, the parents like, what the fuck? Ain't you spelling like a retard? I shouldn't have said that. I take it back. Oh, let's keep watching, bro.
Savannah's older brother also received a text 43
He's typing
seconds
stupidly.
later.
He's typing stupidly.
Also received a text 43 seconds later.
Okay. Hey, I quit. I'm leaving with my boyfriend. I just can't do this shit. Anything. I'm fine. Just want to get away. So she sent this to her supervisor.
Although both texts came from Savannah's number, her family knew right away that something wasn't right. She had just left the house in what appeared to be very high spirits, but now proclaimed to be running away with an unidentified man without packing so much as a change of clothes. Not only that, but the text messages were riddled with errors and composed in a completely different way to how she would normally write. Her phone was switched off when they tried calling just minutes after receiving the texts, so they immediately called her place of work and found out that she hadn't shown up. It was at that point they called police and filed a missing persons report. Savannah had been gone for less than 2 hours. Roughly 40 minutes later, her car was found unlocked and abandoned in the Bonefish Grill parking lot, and the only thing missing was her phone. Her wallet, ID, and a number of other valuable items had not been taken. Investigators went through the parking lot surveillance tapes and discovered what would then
That's
become
just
the
so damning, bro. Like, she really made it to work I'm assuming something happened in the parking lot because the people at the job didn't see her. And they took you and your phone. And god damn.
Primary piece of evidence for the case. The majority of footage remains undisclosed to the public, but a detailed description of what occurred has already been released. What we know is that Savannah parked her car and stepped out of the vehicle at exactly 5:31 p.m. She then walked over to another vehicle and conversed with the occupant for 14 minutes through the driver's side window. She then got into the back seat of said vehicle at 5:45 p.m. 14 seconds later, the car began to shake sporadically as if some type of struggle was occurring inside. The rear door swung open 3 times, but was immediately and forcefully shut each time. It appeared as though someone was attempting to get out, but couldn't. This lasted for 49 seconds until the vehicle suddenly stopped moving. A male figure was then seen getting out and proceeded to walk over to Savannah's car that was 20 feet away. The surveillance was grainy, and the person
bro,
could not be
I'm getting kind
identified.
of heated, bro, because if this was my fucking daughter, bro, I promise you somebody's dying, bro. Like, that shit would piss me off. I mean, it would piss really anybody off. Like, damn. She was, like, fighting with him. The door, got the door open 3 times, but he kept forcibly shutting it until eventually, I guess he must have just knocked her out. Fuck.
From the footage alone. All that police could ascertain was that he had short brown hair and was roughly 5'11". The unidentified person reached into Savannah's car and took out what police believed was her phone. He then slashed the front tire with a knife before walking back to his own vehicle. He got in and drove away from the scene at exactly 6:04 p.m. Savannah was never seen exiting the car. This was a crucial piece of evidence, and essentially all investigators had to go on. They had to find out who the man was in the video, and fast. But they also had to be careful in how they conducted their investigation. They couldn't let anyone find out they had this footage in their possession, as knowing this information could allow a suspect to alter their alibi to fit with the evidence. This would take a significant advantage away from investigators during interrogation, and would hinder their ability to build a case to a considerable degree. Over the following 2 days, investigators briefly interviewed all the staff at the Bonefish Grill. For the most part, these encounters consisted of just 3 questions. When was the last time you saw Savannah? Do you know where she is? And, is there anything you know that could help with our investigation? Within 48 hours, they had 3 potential suspects, whose names were then ran through the motor insurance database. The first suspect didn't have a license. The second suspect owned a bright red 2001 Jeep Cherokee, while the third suspect was registered to a 2012 silver Chevy Malibu, an identical match to the vehicle seen on surveillance. His name was Rodarte. He was 28 years old and was both the manager and head chef at the Bonefish Grill.
Look at this shad right here. The head chef and manager, a co-worker, well, a manager, probably just trying to fuck her or something. She didn't want to, and then...
Coincidentally, he was the first person to be interviewed at the diner about Savannah's disappearance, where he told investigators that he hadn't seen her in about 3 weeks.
And they basically already got their prime suspect. Like, 1, you have a car that matches. 2, you work at the same place where she works at. So, car matches, and you know the suspect.
Weeks and knew nothing of her current
You're a
whereabouts.
prime suspect,
It was only
buddy.
from his co-workers that police discovered he was having an on and off relationship with Savannah for the last 8 months,
yeah, you're
despite
done. You're
it being
cooked.
against company policy. From
He's
what
cooked.
investigators could gather, this was a very popular individual, rising fast through the ranks of his chosen profession.
He had
was
worked
known for
taking
his
tasks
charm
and
and
shit.
charisma amongst his colleagues, and also had a lot of success when it came to the opposite sex. On all accounts, his life seemed to be going very well, but he was now the prime suspect in a kidnapping investigation, and the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office planned their next steps in meticulous detail. At around 5:15 p.m. on August 5th, police arrested Rodarte while midway through his shift at work. They told him it was for an outstanding traffic warrant and took him to the JSO Police Department.
Can you do me a favor? I'm gonna have you take that apron off, too.
See, but these type of people are the worst, because it's bad enough that you kidnapped her, but like, you also killed her. You also killed her. Like, it would have been different if you kidnapped her and you had plans, but you just didn't want to follow through, you were nervous or whatever, had cold feet, but you fully followed through and now she's dead.
Kind of get it right there. I'll say right here. You can go ahead and have a seat for me real quick. I'll be right back, okay?
Yes, sir.
The officer said
This
he
is
would
the
be
part I
right
love.
back, yet Lee was
This is the
left to
part I
sit
love.
there for 90 minutes with nothing but his own thoughts to keep him company.
90 minutes?
Now,
Oh, yeah.
think of yourself in his position,
I'm
and
thinking
presume
of,
you were guilty of whatever happened to
amazing
Savannah, and
alibi.
that whatever happened was something truly horrific. In the present moment, you have just been arrested for an outstanding traffic warrant.
That's even more crazy because they gave him time to sit down, so like he's overthinking, trying to see how he can get himself out of this, and they're about to just completely dismantle everything.
You were interviewed the day before about your coworker's disappearance. 1,000,001 things will be running through your mind about what could happen next, and as each second ticks by, the anxiety this will cause will begin to fester
One
and slowly
slip up is
intensify.
all they would
However,
need.
the optimism of uncertainty would still be present. There would still be hope, but this hope is about to be dashed. The sound of the door opening would have been a pleasant relief from the monotonous cycle of Rodarte's own thoughts, yet this brief moment of alleviation would have instantly converted to shock as Detective Ray Reeves walked through the door, the same investigator who had interviewed him about Savannah the day prior.
Hey, man.
How you doing?
Good, good. You remember me from the other day, Detective Reeves? Okay.
It would have been at this moment that Lee realized his situation was far more severe than he was hoping. The relative optimism he would have felt during the initial 90 minutes on his own will now be gone, which
He's
in turn will
sweating
greatly
bullets for
magnify
sure.
the contrasting sense of fear he will now be experiencing.
This is my partner, Detective Staley. She was interviewing some of the other folks, waiters and other staff people the other day, so she didn't get a chance to come in at the time. I wanted to talk to you, or actually we wanted to. You want some more water?
Please. Actually, would it be alright to use the restroom one more time
Yeah,
before we
come
start?
on. You bet. I'll walk you out there.
Why? Oh, well. It's probably not a... He probably asked you how to use the restroom. We're not trying to think of more shit.
You want some more water?
Please. Because you're alright.
Yeah. We got water.
Is the handcuffs connected to the key on the door? What kind of kinky shit is that? It's a single handcuff connected to the key. Whose key is
Like I
that,
said,
bro?
I want to kind of go over some stuff. I know we talked the other day just for a few minutes and I had some concerns about a couple things. And, oh, okay. Oh, there we go. Somebody else wants to talk. There we go. I wanted to talk to you about Savannah. So I just
For
had a couple
research
of
purposes.
things that came up that I wanted to ask you about specifically that didn't seem
Okay,
to
yeah.
line up. So
Let's
I
get
wanted
to this. Let's get to
come down
this.
and talk to you. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Have you drank any alcohol today? Any drugs today?
I took in Adderall that my buddy gave me
Okay.
because I was there so late last night. I
Yeah,
came
yeah.
in and was super tired. Like, here, take this.
Okay. Adderall?
Yeah.
And do you normally take that?
Nah, it was.
I watched a couple of these criminal psychology videos to know already he just made one mistake. When they do that thing like you just did where
And was super tired. Like, here, take this.
yes, Ethan, where he says here take where he like does a dialogue, that is immediately guilty. Immediately guilty, bruh. I know that enough. Exactly, bro.
Okay. Adderall?
Yeah.
And do you normally take that?
Nah, it was. I've taken one a long time ago. Like, I wouldn't say high school. A little bit after high school, but it's been years.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. I appreciate that. All right. So, Savannah, you said that you knew her and you guys had, you knew her from work. I mean, just kind of fill me in with that. How long have you known her?
Like I said,
The detective starts off with an open-ended question. This gives the suspect total freedom and flexibility in how they wish to respond. It's commonly believed that people with nothing to hide are likely to give a short and concise response to these types of questions. For example, if Lee was completely unconcerned with what was going on, he could respond in 3 short sentences. I met her from work. I've known her for 2 years. We dated for a bit. To the contrary, if an individual does have something to hide, they are more likely to give a lengthy and detailed response. The simple reasoning behind this is that they are seeking approval. Imagine yourself in a job interview and you're asked an open-ended question, such as, "Tell me about yourself." You would feel the need to be thorough in order to please your potential employer. The psychological premise is exactly the same with regard to police interrogations, albeit under completely different circumstances.
Damn.
Guilty subjects will see the interrogator as an imminent threat, and will therefore attempt to appease this threat to prevent further aggression. Truthful subjects will have no fear nor concern with regard to the same element. They would see the interrogator as a mere inconvenience.
Hey, that's smart. I didn't even think about that. Like, because you would want to tell like a job interview, hey, I'm like this, I'm like that, you know, etc. But they're using the question as like a way to get him to just talk about shit related to her till he says something that like he can't go back on because he's already said it. Because then you'd be changing the story.
As opposed to a threat.
I've known her obviously since she started working there. I would say probably about 8 months ago or so, we started hanging out outside of work. And at the time I had a girlfriend. But we kind of connected, me and Savannah. So we hung out a little.
How long do you think it goes for? And we're talking minutes. I'm shooting for 3 minutes.
A little bit here and there. Got pretty close. We come from, I guess, somewhat similar backgrounds, I guess you should say.
Okay.
She didn't have it the best growing up, neither did I. So we kind of connected, hung out for a little while, and then she started using drugs a lot.
Okay.
Now, I used them with her. Not the same drugs that she used all the time, but I did them with her a couple times, and then she started to get heavy into them. And
He's just like, okay, bro, didn't ask.
So I kind of just tried to take a step back and put things off. Probably a month or so ago. I saw Savannah at work, and she looked healthy again. She gained a little bit of weight, and just friendly talk at work. Telling her, hope everything's been good. And she told me, that I guess she did a lot of drugs and ended up in the hospital.
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
I want to say a couple of days.
She's just chatting, bro.
Oh, okay.
He's
so
just
obviously,
chatting.
Me being pretty close to her, I was concerned and everything. But after she came back, she looked good, and she ended up telling me that, I guess, over those 4 days she detoxed pretty well, and she kind of caught a, new sense into why she shouldn't do some drugs so much.
Okay.
And like I said, she looked good. She started looking healthy. So
Yeah, 3
we
minutes.
kind of were talking, here and there. We hung out a couple times. She came over to the house, and we just.
You already
kicked back
said
and
you hung out. Like,
beers, watched
you
movies,
know
stuff
her.
like
We
that.
get it.
Like I said, we did. We took like some pain pills here and there on occasion. But then she started like bringing heroin over and stuff like that. And that's my mom was addicted to methamphetamines when she was when I was younger. So those hard like
Stop talking. Stop talking.
So I took a step back the first time. I ended up telling her, I was like, hey, for one, I'm dealing with a lot of personal stuff myself right now as it is. I'm a little depressed.
He wants to tell him to shut
I
up,
think
but he has to let the dude
I
rant
think we
on.
should,
He has to.
stop talking.
Okay.
And she said, I understand.
Bro,
it's
5
completely
minutes.
fine, no problem.
What was the question?
We started hanging out, I would say probably about 8
The
months
fuck?
ago. Started working there. I've known her obviously.
He's been talking for 5 minutes on a single question. How long have you known her? Oh, actually, oh, I stopped it right before the timer stopped.
A problem, you know. She said, I'll delete your number. I'll never text you again. And that was the last time I texted.
Bro, we on,
It was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago.
you running my time
Sometime in
out.
July.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things you said was that was the last time that you had contact with her as far as, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so, I mean, you correct me
That was
at
the
any
last
time.
time that I texted her.
Yeah, text or a phone call or a messenger
Yeah.
or anything like that. 2 to 3 weeks ago. Yeah, okay. And then the last time, when was the last time you saw her?
This is what I was a bit. I didn't tell you the truth when we talked up on Fish.
Okay.
Lee doesn't know the extent of the evidence, but he knows the investigators have something, and he now has no choice but to amend his alibi to some degree and give some form of admission. This allows the investigators to get one step closer to a confession, while also keeping the capacity of the evidence hidden until a more critical moment.
Last time I saw her was Wednesday afternoon.
Okay.
They're playing chess. He think he's playing checkers.
I heard that she has been basically telling a lot of people at work that we hooked up a bunch, like a couple of days before that, and that she was going to like tell about the whole situation and, you know, try to get me fired. And
Now,
things
why
like
why
that.
would that get you fired? I
Well,
don't know.
I'm a manager and she's an employee. So I mean,
Okay,
it's
so you
like-
guys aren't supposed to fraternize?
Yeah.
Or, okay, I got you.
And she just told people, I guess, that she was out with that work at the restaurant that we were having sex.
Okay.
I
Here's
pulled
the
in
thing.
the parking lot.
I've had a similar situation like this. They don't fire you. Well, like I didn't. Hold on, let me finish. They don't fire you. All they would do is try to move you to a different department or keep you two separate. I wasn't in a situation where like I was being fired or moved to a different department because just nobody knew. But like, especially if you're a manager, they're not just gonna fire you off of that. They would just have you disclose the relationship officially, and then just try to keep you two separate so that you're not doing favors for each other, or if something's bad away from work, it's not affecting the work of the restaurant. Like, I know that they wouldn't fire you. So what are you talking about?
She pulled in a little bit after me. I parked, and I said, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" And she said, "Yeah, what's up?" And I was like, "I heard you've been saying some things about me and you continuing to hang out, and you know that we're boyfriend and girlfriend." And she asked me, she said, "Can I come sit in the car? Because I just did some heroin and I'm a little..."
See, this is where he's already fucked up because she only got into one car before she went missing, and you're saying she just asked to come in your car. So you are now the guy that kidnapped her. They already know.
paranoid.
Heroin doesn't make you feel paranoid. It makes you extremely relaxed and oblivious to your surroundings. Some might argue that heroin can cause paranoia depending on the user, yet Savannah was driving moments earlier and was about to start a shift at work. If she was using, she most certainly wasn't the type to get paranoid.
Okay.
I said, "Why are you doing that? You know, you're doing really well. You shouldn't have been doing that."
Okay.
And so she came and sat in the car, and I explained to her the situation. I told her that servers at Bonefish were coming to me and telling me that you're telling people when you're out that we're still having sex and we're boyfriend and girlfriend. And I said, I would appreciate, I need you to stop, because for one, it's jeopardizing my job. We agreed to, split, stop talking mutually and just move on and, be cordial or whatever. But it was nothing more than that. And she said, "Fuck you, you're a piece of shit." And I said, she said she's gonna keep telling lies and stuff.
He's
about me
talking
and
like he
everything
was.
that. And at that point,
Lee has just tried to cover his tracks as much as possible without giving away anything incriminating.
He
may
already
have
did.
thought a witness saw him at the scene with Savannah and was most likely hoping the verbal argument was the extent of what was seen. He therefore gives away this detail in an attempt to come across as truthful. Yet as we know, the investigators have proof that Savannah never got out of the car. And he's about
Exactly.
to lock himself into his second lie, which is exactly what the detectives want.
she had her phone in her hand. She got out of the car
Checkmate,
and
Lee.
walked towards the main entrance from San Jose.
So like if
So this is
like
I wouldn't say she was walking along the edge of the plaza, but she was walking maybe towards this way. And I would say an older model Ford pickup, green,
okay.
drove past me and around, and she got in.
Okay.
The suspect has now thrown away his best possible defense, which would have been that he drove away from the parking lot with Savannah, and that she got out at another destination where they then parted ways. If he had known about the surveillance footage, this would have no doubt been his revised narrative, but it's no longer possible due to this fabrication.
That's great. Wait, hold up. So he really could have. And see, this is why you don't talk if you don't have a lawyer or attorney, because they could have told you, hey, we can say you drove away and you lit her out somewhere at a bus stop where she wanted to get out eventually, and you lit her out or threw out of your car, and you don't know what happened to her. I mean, granted, you're still a prime suspect because you were the last person she was seen with, but bro, she didn't get out the car. And you're saying she got in a green car? It's your car.
This is now his stated alibi under caution, and any amendments that he might try to make at a later stage will have no credibility whatsoever.
So she gets out of the back seat and begins walking in the direction of, not necessarily paralleling San Jose, but she's walking towards 295 or down towards that entrance area.
Yeah.
And then she's got her phone, and you said you thought she was calling somebody?
The detective knows this alibi is completely fabricated, so you might be wondering why he's inquiring into it further.
To
The
get
truth
him to
is that he's not actually
lie more.
inquiring, only pretending to. The suspect's responses to these questions are of no importance, and the detective is not information gathering. He's simply getting the suspect to let his guard down as much as possible by making him think that he is being believed. As the suspect continues to convey this made-up narrative, his anxiety will slowly diminish. His belief that he is fooling the detectives will increase, and his heightened state of mind will decrease as a result. This is a well-known strategy, and the reason for this strategy is because the detective is about to initiate the first confrontation. He wants to catch the suspect completely off guard.
She was. She
You know-
had it
you
in
wanna
her
know what
hand.
I would've
It
did,
looked
Ethan, if I was a
I couldn't
detective?
tell she was texting her.
I would have been a dick and been like, I would have wrote on a little note, green pickup truck, handed it to the girl that's sitting right next to him, and be like, go put out an APB on this so we can look for that car. Dude would have felt all types of innocent, like he just got away with it, and then he would have been done there. Cause everything after that, bro, I'm hitting with you with the hard questions, bro. You thought we was out looking for that, nigga? We know it's you.
Not or anything.
But she had her phone out.
Yeah, she had her phone out and was looking at it, and then it looked like she was going to put it up to her ear, and then
Yeah.
the green truck came around,
Okay.
and she
How long
got
do
in.
you think it was between the time that she got out and started using her phone till that green truck pulled up?
This goes on for roughly 90 seconds, and Rodarte appears to be considerably more at ease.
295 all the way to Beach Boulevard to Grove Park, and then Grove Park.
How long does that usually take you? Depending on traffic, obviously.
I think it usually takes me about 25 minutes or so.
Okay. What happened to your neck?
We see a very sharp and very sudden switch. The suspect is taken from feeling assured to once again feeling threatened. It's believed that when the immediate shift from one emotion to the next is so extreme, a suspect can become disoriented, and their ability to think critically can be affected. In other words, it's much harder for them to think up lies on the spot or fabricate emotion in a convincing manner.
That was self-inflicted, actually.
After a long, nervous breath, he takes 3 seconds to respond, yet somewhat saves himself with the answer.
That's
The
yeah, I was
fact
about
he
to say
stated
that's a
his
smart
injuries
answer.
were self-inflicted could give reason for the nervous breath and his hesitation to respond, as self-harm is a taboo
And you can
subject,
say, "Oh, I don't
and
wanna
some might
explain
be
it."
embarrassed or even ashamed to admit to it. The detective recognizes this and immediately puts him back on the spot.
Why?
I just have been having kind of a hard time.
You're not?
I couldn't.
The first interjection from the female detective. She alludes to the fact that the neck is an unusual place for a self-inflicted injury, essentially stating that she's not buying it, but also refrains from applying too much pressure, which is being saved for a more pivotal moment at a
You're
later
taking notes
stage.
for when you're in his position?
And
What did you use?
a knife.
When did you do that?
Some time in July.
You did that in July and it's still
Yeah.
bloody?
Well, I kind of peel the scab here and there at work, hitting it on stuff like that. I peeled it last night working.
You
Probably
peeled at
not the
work, bro.
best
You work in
advertisement
the
for
kitchen.
Bonefish Grill if their head chefs are peeling their scabs off
Yeah,
at
what
work.
the
But then
fuck?
again, the wounds are more than likely a fresh injury from his struggle with Savannah, and they hadn't been peeled off at all.
And it was coming off a little bit today, so I peeled that a little bit.
All right, let me see.
Fucking
But
disgusting.
this was the same night. This one was just a lot worse
Yeah.
than this one was.
Okay. And that was in July?
Yeah.
Okay. Like a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Okay. When she's in the car, what does she say to you about what her plans are? So she's scheduled to work that night.
Mhm.
So she's going to work?
She didn't talk
She did-
about. I mean, I.
What the altercation in the car where she was fighting and stuff? That's the reason. That's the reason why we have girls built like this in today's world who will knock your ass out. Cause you try to kidnap her, and buddy, she's putting you in a headlock and you're going to sleep. You're going to sleep. You're losing consciousness. The headlock will be fatal. He? This is why women body build. I mean, they like it, but also like they're not getting kidnapped out here. They said, I wish a nigga would. He better pull out the blicky.
I assumed she was going to work. She was in her uniform, but she didn't say. When she got out the car, she didn't say anything after
As
she got out
fuck.
the car.
They further reinforce his confidence by going back to his narrative of the truck and allow him to convey the story in more meticulous detail. They are once again giving him a false sense of security, only to use it against him at the opportune moment.
And she gets in that truck. Let's be honest, we won't even call her she, Savannah. Okay? Savannah, again, with this picture, if we're using it in the same place, from where your drawing was, they drove over here. You're here, and they drive out over here. Do they stop? Does she get out and go into work? Does the truck keep going?
I didn't see once they turned the corner past the ATM. Once she got in and they left, I left. I just.
Did you run into them on the road anywhere?
No.
Okay. Did she call you later on or text you later on?
Savannah, no.
No other contact with her.
No.
So where's Savannah right now?
I don't know.
Where would I find her?
I don't know.
This is a far more aggressive confrontation. It's essentially
Yeah,
an
'cause he's like,
accusation
"Why are
that
you
the
asking me
suspect
that?"
is involved in Savannah's disappearance. Innocent subjects will usually reciprocate this aggression and respond to this type of question with a question of their own, such as, "Why are you asking me that?" Or, "What are you trying to say?" They would openly recognize and refute the allegation, most often in a forceful manner. Lee had no emotional response whatsoever, nor an ounce of shock. He answered the question with a composed demeanor, almost as if he knew it was coming. It lets the detectives know he was anticipating some type of blunt confrontation.
That's my prime.
Damn. Cannot get shit past these niggas. They know exactly what you were thinking before you thought it, buddy.
I'm objective is to find her.
Definitely.
I think time's running out on her. I want to find this girl. I need to find her.
I understand.
And here's a couple reasons I need to find her. One is I'm hoping that she's still alive. And that's really, I really do, I'm holding out for that. And if she's not alive, then I think she and her family are due that knowledge. I think I think they need some closure. Because I think the reality is if somebody's, dead somewhere, a parent would want to know. I think if do you have kids?
No.
Okay, so one day when you have kids, the uncertainty is whatever kind of a person she is. And I'm not about to say what kind of a person she is, because I'm not making any judgments. I'm saying that this human being is, if she's alive, then I want to find her. I need to make sure she's okay, because several days now she hasn't been around. Things happen to the human body, and people can't stand a lot of things that can transpire. But the other thing is, if she's not, this family deserves better than this. This family deserves better than somebody who works with her and who's got knowledge and won't tell the police because they're worried about their own ass. Because that's pretty cheap. I'm gonna be honest with you. And
I agree.
your feelings in it, I don't really care about your feelings. What I care about is finding her. So where is she?
He said, "Fuck your feelings, nigga."
I don't know.
I need to know where Savannah is so I can
don't
let
know
her family
where
know.
she is.
You don't know because you had something done with her and you weren't involved in that part? I don't know. Tell me something. What can I work with?
I told you the last time I saw her.
But that's not true because we have proof.
This moment would have been rehearsed multiple times before the interrogation started. The investigators would have planned who would reveal the surveillance to the suspect, and at roughly what moment. The suspect had been confronted multiple times, and the situation was now fully transparent, yet he continued to maintain his innocence by clinging on to his narrative. It becomes evident that he isn't going to budge, so the female detective takes the initiative. She reveals their final and most substantial piece of evidence for the purpose of maximizing the pressure.
We have proof. And that's why we're sitting here, Lee. At this point, we need this for her. I mean, I look at that little girl and I think of my little girl. My little girl who's hurting.
You can hear her voice
That's
breaking.
what that was my little girl. I couldn't imagine. I don't care what she said about you or whatever, but my little girl is that age.
Maybe
And you're not telling the truth.
Maybe something gets out of hand in the car.
I didn't do anything.
Okay, you didn't do
Okay,
anything, but she
okay.
was in your car. She never got out of your car. She never
got-
got out of your car. Lee?
We're not saying that you did anything. I'm trying to find her. I didn't say you
I
did
don't know
anything.
where she is.
Well, we can prove that you left with her in the car. So please, do everybody
this.
a favor and just tell us.
Where is she?
I don't
You
know.
got to be able to separate. We're not sitting here saying you did anything to her. I don't know. She's on drugs. Maybe she passed. I don't know. I'm not in that car with you guys. I know that she's in that car with you. I have proof of all of this.
Okay, let me ask you, Lee. Then tell us now if you're being an honest man. Are you being honest?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's start being honest. She never got out of your back seat, Lee. She never got out of your back seat. Video cameras don't lie.
Lee,
How do you know? How do you think I know this information, Lee? I wasn't there, but a video camera caught it.
tell me what happened.
I don't know.
What happened to her? Was it an overdose? Is that what happened? I don't know. I'm not in the car with you guys. You just said she was in your car and she had admittedly had done heroin.
This is a cross between the how and why solution and the alternative question. Both are used to lower the gauge of admission for the purpose of getting one foot in the door, which will then become the new foundation for building the case. The how and why solution essentially blames the victim, while at the same time minimizes the motivations behind the crime. The alternative question plants a seed in the suspect's mind, where they are given an alternative and far more morally accepting choice for
answer.
what happened. It's a
Oh
smart
my
move, yet
God.
the suspect doesn't fall for it on this occasion.
Bodies overdose all the time. Is that what happens? Does she overdose?
Okay, well, tell us when you left with her in the car, because that is what is shown. We can't make up that. We can't falsify a video camera, Lee. I'm not lying to you because you know I'm telling the truth because you know that's what's on the video. How else would I know that? I don't unless I have the video. Where did you go with her?
I didn't go anywhere with her.
You did.
No.
You did. So the video camera's lying?
I don't know this. I mean,
Well, I'm telling you.
The surveillance footage was no doubt incriminating evidence, yet wouldn't close out a case on its own that easily. The investigators need a confession and continue to apply pressure in a relentless manner. They attack the suspect's character while simultaneously appealing to his sense of morality.
I'm telling you, I'm not lying to you. I'm not making that up. That's why I'm so passionate about this. This is someone's child. You might not have kids, but damn it, she's someone's kid. We're fact finders, Lee. I don't have anything personal against you.
No, not at all. I mean, it's
We're
over.
just fact finders.
tell us
We're
what
just
happened.
doing
Where
our
is she?
job.
Bro, this shit got me tense.
No. Where did you go with her?
It's
Where
the
did you
it's
go
the
with
female,
her,
bro.
Lee?
She's
You're a
like
human, you're a
she's
human,
on
you're a
his
man.
ass.
Where did you go with her? I know you're not that cruel inside. Seriously. Where did you go with her?
Maybe you
Please.
maybe you don't know where she is now. Where did you go with her?
Please. I'm begging you, Lee. Please.
You can't say you didn't go. They
Please
know she
tell
didn't
us.
leave the car.
Please don't make us waste any more of our time. Just tell us. Please tell us. Please.
Say something,
I'm
nigga.
begging you. I know you're not evil. Just tell us where she is. I'm begging you. Please. Please. Can you please just tell me? Where did you go
I
with
want to
her
hit him.
then?
I want to
Can
hit
you
him.
At least tell us that.
At least tell us that part. Where did you go with her afterwards? She didn't get out of your car, and you know that obviously because I
and
know
we do
that.
too. That's why we're here. Just tell us where. Where did you go with her? Tell us that. At least point us in that direction. I owe her family. We've been. No one's. We're not saying anything that you intentionally did anything. Just tell us where you went.
When y'all left out of there, you went down Claire Lane, you made a left on San Jose, about to 295, and you get up on 295. Okay. Where else did you go before you went home? I mean, I know you eventually went home,
I
but
didn't go anywhere. I went straight home.
okay. So what did y'all do when you got home? Savannah was with you. She was with you, and that's okay at that point. But I need to know where did she go from there? Is she still at your house?
No.
Okay. Is she still in your car?
No.
Okay. Well, then where
Did he just like start? You sounded congested.
I don't know where she is.
Okay, then where did you last drop her off at?
I didn't drop her off.
Okay, well then tell me.
What happened? Where'd you guys go?
We went to my house.
This is a breakthrough. The investigators have got Lee to amend his story once more by lowering the level of admission, and this shows that he can still be influenced. As stated earlier, they were trying to get one foot in the door, which they have now done, and this is their new platform to build on the more damnatory elements.
We did some drugs.
Okay.
Hung out for a little. And then she said she was going to catch an Uber home.
What was going on in the
Didn't
back
do
seat?
anything to
What was going on in the back seat? For the doors to be kicked open.
Yep, I
She
say
kicked
you
open
can't
that
say
door.
that if y'all were fighting.
She kicked it. We saw it.
If y'all were fighting in the
Where's
car,
the-
there's no way she willingly went to your house to do drugs with you.
Lee, we understand. Listen, we understand.
We're not trying to hinge you up on anything, man. I'm telling you, I'm thinking about this girl. and her family.
The male needs to step the pressure up. He's more like
She was.
he's getting the answer out of him way more than she is.
Please tell me where to go find her. That's how people remember you.
The released
Lee?
footage of the interrogation tape cuts off at this exact moment. The state's attorney has been contacted by multiple sources to release the next segment, but has so far refused to do so. All we know is that Lee Rodarte admitted to killing Savannah Gold. The only information that is currently released is that he proclaimed to have killed Savannah by breaking her neck. He then took her back to his house where he burned her body in a self-made fire pit and then dumped her in a lake at the dead end of a secluded road. Savannah had injuries to over 75% of her body. The medical examiner was unable to pinpoint the exact cause of her and then dumped her neck. He then took her back to his house where he burned her body in a self-made fire pit and then dumped her in a lake at the dead end of a secluded road. Savannah had injuries to over 70.
How did they know what injuries she had if he took her home, burned her, and then threw the ashes in a lake? How did they know what injuries she had? Am I missing something? She was with him the whole time. No, because he was the only one that saw her from the point she got in the car to his house to when he killed her. They're there right now. They don't know where she is. Like, he's already burned her and threw her ashes in the lake. How do you know what injuries she had? Like, I mean, you can make a guess, but like, you don't.
Her neck. He then took her back to his house where he burned her body in a self-made fire pit and then dumped her in a lake at the dead end of a secluded road. Savannah had injuries to over 75% of her body. The medical examiner was unable to pinpoint the exact cause of death. The only conclusion was that it was a violent homicide.
I'm stupid. No, Ethan. He didn't fully burn the body. The body was like burned, but it wasn't like in ashes, like in the mortar. Yeah. So like, the body was still intact. It was just charred up, and he threw the body in the. Why my mic just cut out? This.
At the medical examiner was unable to pinpoint the exact cause of death. The only conclusion was that it was a violent homicide. The segment of admission was cut, yet the JSO released the footage that came just moments after. It shows a human being experiencing an emotional reckoning so overwhelming, while also trying to process the terrifying nature of his immediate situation.
Going to jail now. So, like, I don't think anyone cares anymore, bro. His mom cares. Whatever.
Fucking stupid. You here?
All you had to do was not kill her. Maybe you would have got time off, you know, or like not life. Now you're in there for good, buddy. A fucking manager at Bonefish Grill, bro. You ruined your life over one woman.
The instant anguish over his decision to confess, combined with the looming prospect of what lays ahead, will have forged a unique emotional distress that very few will ever experience. It's a harrowing sight, and under different circumstances would be extremely difficult for most people to witness. Yet we are now couched within the context of events that led up to this moment, and this will make its observation far more tolerable, but by no means easy.
Damn. Imagine you do some shit and you know you're gonna be doing some fucking time. And you're in this room and you know the second you leave, you're not going home, you're not going to work, you have to go straight into handcuffs, into a holding cell, whatever, book, and you're in prison for the next 20 years. Like, your life is essentially being taken away from you. I would fucking cry, bro.
Oh, no. Stop. Kill the jail.
He's trying to clean up before you go into jail.
Shit. I'm nice to you. For somebody who was a bitch to you.
Wait, what?
Does that make any sense?
What? Yeah, what? Huh?
It's time to get to wear a chef coat.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. You said you was picking scabs? Take that chef coat off, buddy. You don't represent Bonefish no more. You represent the booty town.
I'm not supposed to be you.
Rock that orange, not that black.
I'm supposed to make something of your fucking life. Everything. Going places, man.
Like, literally, bro, he can't...
Fucking head.
Any dream you had, any dream career, dream job, like,
Could've told
you can't do no more.
Lee was remanded into custody and taken to the Duval County Jail where he was denied bond. In spite of the overwhelming evidence against him and the prospect of life in prison without the possibility of parole, he pled not guilty and claimed that Savannah's
He
killing
never
was an
wearing
act of
any type of
self-defense,
uniform
even though
anywhere,
he stands at
aside from
5'11",
that.
weighing 163 pounds, while Savannah was just 5 feet tall and weighed 91 pounds. He claimed that he was in fear of his life after she slapped him multiple times in the face, at which point he grabbed her neck, felt a pop, and realized he had accidentally broke it, resulting in her death. The state's attorney's office had no comment on this motion. All they have stated is that this trial is expected to commence during the summer of 2020.
You know, I like to look them up to see where are they at now. 40 years in prison. Wait, is this the unseen footage where he confesses?
In an attempt to explain Gold's sudden disappearance, Rodarte sent several texts to family members from Gold's phone in the hours after the struggle in his car. These texts said to her father
we know that.
death. 75% of her body had been burned.
Wednesday night about the truck and about her.
Wait, what? This guy's sister's in prison for murdering a woman in 2016 outside of a motel and calling camera with a family. Can you imagine their family reunions? And the camera ended up recording the crimes both times, like brother, like sister. Amber Carrillo. Camarillo. Hold up. Wait, how do I know they're related though? Rodarte's sister, okay. Sister of Florida murder suspect also in jail and unrelated killing.